Alright, so let's talk adding and subtracting fractions. I have some bullet points there that are good fraction reminders. We have to remember that we have to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. We need to make sure our final answer is in simplest form. And for adding and subtracting, we need common denominators. We need the bottoms to be the same. Okay, so let's get into this. 5, 6 plus 4/5. Well, 6 and 5, the denominators are not the same, but I need them to be the same. So this is where we have to ask ourselves, what do 6 and 5 both go into? Let's find the least common multiple of 6 and 5. Well, 6 and 5 both go into 30. That is the smallest number that they both go into. So now we need to manipulate our fractions in order for them to get that denominator of 30. So we got 5, 6 plus 4/5. The first fraction, I need to multiply 6 by 5 in order for it to get to 30. So my first fraction becomes 25 over 30. In the second fraction, I need to multiply that denominator of 5 by 6 in order to make that become a denominator of 30. That's going to become 24 over 30. All right, now that our denominators are the same, we keep the denominator the same, and we add the numerators. 25 plus 24, that's going to give us 49/30. Now we look at the numerator and the denominator, we say, can we simplify this at all? Is there any number other than 1 that goes into both 30 and 49? Well, it's just 1. The greatest common factor of 30 and 49 is 1, so this fraction does not simplify at all. All right? Next up, 9/15. 9/15 minus 2/3. Denominators are not the same. I need common denominators. So what number do 3 and 15 both go into? Well, they both go into 15, so I don't need to change my first fraction at all. It already has a denominator of 15. But the second fraction, I need to multiply by 5 over 5 in order to make that denominator of 3 become 15. Okay, so the denominator is 15, the numerator is 10. So I have 9/15 minus 10/15. Denominator stays the same. Up top, I just take 9 minus 10. That's going to give me negative 1/15. Or you could see it with a negative out in front. Either one, they're saying the same thing. Okay? Next up in C, I'm going to rewrite this so that the negative's in front. Negative 3/4 minus 2/9. And we have to ask ourselves, what number, how do I get common denominators here? What do 4 and 9 both go into? Well, 4 and 9 both go into 36. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 9 over 9 and the second equation by 4 over 4. My first fraction, not equation, I'm sorry, my first fraction, not equation, fraction. So I'm going to multiply my first fraction by 9 over 9. That's going to become negative 27 over 36 minus my second fraction is going to become 8 over 36. All right, so now my common denominators, so the denominator stays the same. Numerator is going to be negative 27 minus 8. Well, negative 27 minus 8 is going to become negative 35. Or remember, the negative can be, the negative can be out in front. So this is going to be negative 35/36. All right, let's keep rolling along. Let's keep doing some examples. We got 11 over 2 plus 11 over 5. Not the same denominator, and that's what we need. So 2 and 5, those both go into 10. So I need to manipulate my fractions to get a denominator of 10. I'm going to multiply the first fraction. Geez, I don't know why I keep saying equation. First fraction by 5 over 5. My second fraction by 2 over 2. The first fraction becomes 55/10. The second fraction becomes 22/10. Keep the denominator the same, so denominator stays 10, and I add the numerators, 55 plus 22. That's going to give me 77/10. Doesn't simplify at all, so it's just going to stay like that. Okay? Our final two examples are when we deal with mixed numbers. All right, so like I said up at the beginning, this bullet point, mixed numbers need to become improper fractions. So if you remember how to do that, like 1 3/4, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the number out front by the denominator, and we're going to add the number up top. So like 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7, so this is 7/4. Okay? 7/4 minus 2 5/6. So I gotta multiply up top and then add up. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. So this is 17/6. So now they're improper. Now we can actually subtract these, but I do need common denominators still. 4 and 6 both go into 12. So how do I manipulate the first fraction? I'm going to multiply it by 3/3, because that's what's going to get 4 to become 12. What about 6? I'm going to multiply that by 2/2. All right, so my first fraction becomes 21/12. My second fraction is going to become 34/12. Denominator stays the same, and 21 minus 34 is going to become negative 13. So this is going to be negative 13/12, and I can leave that as an improper fraction. I do not need to make that back into a mixed number. All right, so we are going to have to convert our mixed numbers to improper, but we do not have to go the other way back. All right, now, last example. Let's convert these into an improper fraction. All right, so this is negative for 4 3/10. Multiply by 10, add up. So 4 times 10 is 40. 40 plus 3, that's going to become 43/10. So negative 4 3/10 becomes negative 43/10. And then 7/2, 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. So 7/2 becomes 15/2. All right, my common denominator between 2 and 10 is going to be 10. So I'm going to multiply the second fraction by 5/5. First fraction can stay as is because it has a denominator of 10. Second fraction is going to become, not 30, 15 times 5. It's going to become 75/10. All right, and now I just finished this out. Denominator stays the same, so denominator is going to be 10. And now negative 43 plus 75. Okay, you can do that off to the side real quick. 75 minus 43. That's going to become 32/10. Okay, now 32/10, I can simplify that. Okay, so for 32/10, what goes into both 32 and 10? Well, 2 does. If I divide both the top and the bottom by 2, let me see, I got to move this over. Okay, 32 divided by 2 is 16. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this is going to simplify to give me 16/5. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. There are a couple you try nows if you want to try that out. But adding, subtracting fractions is all about getting those common denominators and keeping the denominators the same, and adding or subtracting the numerators. And then you want to make sure you got simplest answer at the end. Have a good one.